Good morning. How's everyone doing? Welcome to day 2 of the NICE conference in Expo in beautiful Seattle, Washington. Give a round of applause for you all for showing up on day 2 right at the beginning. We have another fantastic and content-filled day for you today, but I'm very excited to introduce our welcome speaker, someone from our community here in the state of Washington. He is the chair of the Washington Technology Industry Association and a veteran tech leader and entrepreneur, where he has worked at Nordstrom, Amazon, Zulily, started 3 companies, sold 2 of them, and he recently served as Chief Product and Technology Officer at Leafly. There, he oversaw all engineering, product management, data, and information technology. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dave Cotter.
Thank you. So that was my walk-on music. It's a little flat. Well, good morning. I was actually going to start by kind of joking that for those of you that have been in Seattle for the last couple of years, you now have seen half of our summer. But instead, I want to reiterate, I'm incredibly impressed. At 7:50, everyone was here and fed, and I don't know if that's the food, I don't know if it's the content, but you all are incredibly disciplined and kind of have blown me away. So hats off to you guys. So like I said, my name's Dave Cotter. I'm the chairman of the Washington Technology Industry Association, the WTIA, and just by way of background, it's the largest technology trade organization in the United States. So we've got about 1,000 companies representing hundreds of thousands of employees. And really, our mission is to try to do the things for technology companies that they can't do themselves. So from small companies to large companies, that's everything from pooled benefits and plans and programs for smaller companies to a lot of lobbying and public policy work in Olympia and the state of Washington and back in Washington, D.C. for our larger companies, and also working very closely with the communities in terms of, and also educators in terms of trying to build the technology pipeline. So that's a little bit of that. So I was thinking about some of the comments I've heard around generative AI, and I don't know if you guys have heard of it. But it seems like we hear everything from this is some Skynet level, insert explicitive, we're gonna die, humans are gonna be extinct. It's the most exciting thing since the internet. It's going to ruin homework. I've heard from my daughters it's fantastic for homework. So there's 2 sides of that coin. But my daughters were actually home just recently because my youngest daughter was graduating high school, and they're in technology and they're very technically savvy. And we were talking about just generative AI and kind of what it meant, and we very quickly got into all the bad things it could do, bad actors, and it was almost like there was this caricature or caricatures of who these bad actors are, like anonymous, etc. And as I was thinking about this particular talk, I started thinking about who are the good guys, who are the Avengers in this new kind of definition of cybersecurity, and who are people going to turn to as it relates to this is scary or this is terrifying? And the simple answer is you guys are the Avengers. I'd like to include myself, but you guys are actually the Avengers. There is such a need and a moment in time relative to what generative AI means to the cybersecurity definition, and very specifically what I expect to see the broad and expansive definition of what cybersecurity is, the roles, the jobs, the skills necessary, and there's various moments and times where people kind of step up and meet it. And I think this is a real opportunity for, frankly, the cybersecurity world at large. One of the most critical things, though, is pipeline, job creation, training, how to develop and actually meet the moment. You know, we hear a lot about technology companies downsizing, et cetera, and people talk about a constriction in terms of tech hiring, but the reality is there's about 1 million jobs in technology that are available in the United States. Our universities right now and code academies, they're pumping out about a couple 100,000 a year. And when you think of what is going to be necessary, the roles, the jobs, and even the demands, frankly, we are not building a big enough pipeline for us to really rise to meet the occasion. And I really see this for not only WTIA, but for this group, really stepping up the commitment to the partnerships with educators, legislators, technologists from private and public companies. It truly is going to take a community because there are going to be new roles that need to be defined, need to be created. And there's a lot of education. You know, we spend a lot of time in Olympia and also in DC, and you think of how quickly technology is moving, but how slow the laws are. There are laws and debates that have been happening that kind of go back to almost Web 1, maybe Web 1.5. So it's going to take a very renewed commitment amongst this group, amongst other organizations, to really partner and support with those entities that are helping create a more expansive pipeline for cybersecurity, very specifically as it relates to generative AI. The last thing I would also just kind of close with is, there's an expanded and deepening responsibility, I think, almost from an ethical perspective. We're just kind of getting into this world of what role does, ethics, morality play as we think about these models that are being trained today, and what does that mean from a cybersecurity perspective? How do we think and how do we protect against, bias and things being put into these models that disenfranchise individuals? How do we think about making certain with educators there's enough governance oversight, but at the same time it doesn't stifle innovation? There's a real burgeoning opportunity for people to step up and actually play a role in that kind of uncomfortable ethical world that has to do with not only us as human beings, but also thinking about the threats that kind of influence can actually have in this new world. So to me, I just want to say on behalf of the Washington Technology Industry Association, just wanted to see if I could actually say it quickly. I do want to thank you guys for coming to our state and spending time in this community. It is so critically important. We couldn't be more thrilled to have you here when the weather is as gorgeous as it is. But I just want to say thank you and cheers to the Avengers. Thanks.